Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video we're going to be going over Brutus and a little starter guide on the kind of combat mod direction you want to go with this character, the kind of weapon upgrades you want to do, the kind of skill upgrades you want to do. People always want to know whether they should max out the active, whether they should max out the rush. We're going to be going over everything here. This is going to be a starter guide pretty much. So things may change down the line, but this is going to give you a good base on where to start with Brutus, and then after you've tested him out a bit yourself, you can see where he's maybe lacking in how you're going to use him yourself, and you can switch up some mods. But this is going to give you a reasonable idea. If we go to the skills tab, I have broken down this character in depth before. If you want to check that video out, go ahead. We're not going to do that in this video. We're just going to be mainly going over the main details on how to build this character. First off, his rush. Definitely max this rush. Very hard hitting rush. You need to get it maxed out to get the best out of it. And I would say you want to get the best out of his active skill as well. You want to max this out just to be able to get this off turn 2, and that way you're going to be able to do normalize the two characters, confuse the two characters. It is nice. There is no AP gain here, that is the downside, but Brutus is a follow-up character. He is also going to work really well with the command. He is strong, so he can sit next to Rick in any attack team and still be very, very powerful. So the rush and the active definitely max out both of these. If we go across to the combat mods, we're going to be pretty offensive here. I see Brutus as being more of an attack team character. You can maybe utilize him for defense team. I don't know. I probably would just keep him on an attack team though. His normalize is so effective against these specialists on defense teams. The amount of damage output he's got is immense, and he's strong. So he is going to be able to come up against like the Jackie teams and be very, very powerful there. So because of this, I would stick to attack set, and we will go pretty much purely offensive. We're going to go attack on attack as the top left hand corner, and this is pretty obvious, just trying to increase his attack as much as possible. You want to go to the highest attack stat mod you have. If you have a platinum mod, all the better. Now in the top right hand corner, you can go whichever way you want to go based on the traits you're going to be facing. I'm mainly gearing him towards attacking Jackie teams, so it'll be either fast or alert characters here. And I want him to just destroy fast characters. While he is probably going to do that anyway, you can come up against some quite tanky fast characters. This does hit a bonus for the rush. So we're going to get a nice big boost to his rush damage, his basic attack damage as well. And this will basically mean that he's got more chance of hitting a follow-up. That's why I like to double down on follow-up characters, just so I can try and finish off a character and then get the extra attack for extra AP gain, get that rush going off nice and quick. Now when it comes to the bottom right hand corner, you probably will want to go for confuse resist if you are coming up against Jackie teams. If you have got a Michonne on your attack team, you could run the risk and say, you know, I'll just see if he gets it or not. He's going to get a basic attack AP no matter what first turn. There's not much he can really do first turn except finish someone off, so that would be the bonus of him not being confused, just being able to attack last with him, so he is potentially taking someone out and that way getting the follow-up. But other than that, he can't do his active first turn. He can't do his rush first turn. He could potentially do his rush first turn, actually. If he got the follow-up, you could command him after doing the next basic attack. But realistically, that's not a good place to go a lot of the time, just because defense teams with Jackie and do have characters that you can't really rush first turn. You know, you've got the Mr. Lose, and this doesn't work. So this is going to be up to you, pretty much. I would most likely go with Confuse Resist, though, because primarily, like I said, going to be using them against Jackie teams, and I guess that most of you are going to as well. Now the bottom left hand corner, I see there being two main options. You can go for AP Drain, and if you go for AP Drain, for the wildcard slot you could go for a little bit more stats in terms of like defense. As you can see, his defense is a bit lower than his HP. You can maybe go for a bit more HP because he is a bit more susceptible to reflect damage, and defense does not help on reflect damage, whereas more HP does, because the bigger your health pool is, the more reflect damage you can take. You could go for a second resist, let's say taunt resist, because on Jackie teams there are quite a lot of taunt characters. However, you could go with a different mod in the bottom left hand corner, and you could try and go for crit multiplier, and this is because, like I said, you are trying to get those follow-up attacks to actually happen. If you have 3 15-35 weapons, Brutus has his own, the leader has one, and then the other character that's next to Brutus has one as well. Brutus will have over 100 crit base, and then he has 10 just from being a character. Every character has base 10 on top of that, so we have, I think, 115 at that point. In that bonus slot at this moment, you can decide, hey, I'm going to actually take crit here, get an extra 40 crit. You've got over 150 crit at that point. you're going to be hitting really, really heavy basic attacks. You can get up to, you know, plus 50% plus if you have got a platinum mod in that bottom left-hand corner on the crit multiplier. His weapon is really good, and it can crit because of the 400% bonus based on their HP. But I don't think you actually need to crit on that. That's generally going to take someone out unless they've got a specialist to block that. For instance, let's say Lee on a defense team has got a specialist skill that will block being able to be taken out first turn because of his tenacity. So those are the two main ways to go. Crit multiply bottom left with a crit mod, or AP drain and then just boost his HP, or go for a second resist. It's up to you where you want to go. You might want to test these out. I'm going to go with crit multiplier just to see the sort of heaviest damage output that we can potentially get on this character. So because we've gone with crit multiplier in the bottom left hand corner, we are going to go with a crit stat mod as well. And at this point, we are going to hit the apply button. And as you can see, his stats do get nicely increased. He's gone up to 6,312 base attack. This is without a weapon boost, and this is without a leader bonus. This is actually quite nice. And he's going to do an extra 45%, I believe, attack versus fast characters, which is going to be very nice, like I said, on those basic attacks, to just get those follow-ups with the crit multiplier, with the extra crit. Now we're going to work on the weapon. His base weapon is 30% attack, a medium bonus to AP when attacking, and that special in the third slot is very nice. What we're going to do is we're going to go for 50% attack, a huge bonus to AP when attacking, and a 1535 in the fourth slot. Now the best way to do this before making it a 5-star weapon is to go for 45% attack first, then make it a 5-star weapon. Don't go for a bonus to his AP on the 4-star weapon. And the reason you do this is because you want to get as much attack percentage increases as possible. And this is if you're very willing to reset it to get a perfect weapon like this. This is perfect upgrades before making it a 5-star weapon. And then once it's a 5-star weapon, the only RNG rolls you're going to have is the 5% upgrade rather than 2. So the least amount of percentage damage you're going to come out of this is with 48%. You could come out with a very large bonus to AP, but that actually doesn't matter. Very large is going to be absolutely fine for him. Huge, very large doesn't make any difference. But the difference between 46% and 48%, while it doesn't seem like that much either, it is going to make a bigger difference and much bigger impact to the sort of damage output you're going to have versus having very large or huge. The RNG roll in the 4th slot is obviously the one you're going to have to keep resetting for, and in this case we're going to go for 1535. So after getting the special in the 4th slot that I wanted, which is 1535, which is 15% attack and 35 crit to this character and all adjacent teammates, I got a huge bonus to AP when attacking, and unfortunately I didn't get a crit on the last upgrade, which is always the way. As you can see, this weapon has now not become a diamond weapon. Something that has been frustrating me about these weapons in recent times is the fact that the 3rd slot is seen as a tier 3 special when it's definitely better than a tier 3 special. That's better than a tier 4 special in a lot of cases. So it is frustrating if you care about that sort of thing. It means you can't get diamond and masterwork weapons so easily just because they don't allow you to. The upgrades on it just don't allow you to, unfortunately. We would have to have got a perfect upgrade, 50% attack, to actually get that. But that's the way it is. That's the way the game is. Maybe that'll be updated in the future. It is something I have asked for, but there seems to be some resistance somewhere along the line. I'm not really sure why, though. But that's the weapon I would go for. You're going to be able to boost your teammates. You're going to be able to boost Brutus himself. We're going to see what he's like on a team without a leader bonus. So this is Brutus now on a team with no leader bonus and no adjacent characters. He has over 10,000 damage with those combat mods and with that weapon. That is huge amounts of damage. Once he's got the leader bonus there and 2 more 1535s next to him, it's going to be massively boosted. And in a team with 2 15% and 35 crit weapons, as well as his own next to him, he goes up to 17,500 damage. So his damage output is going to be massively magnified because of this. On the Rick I'm going to be using on the team with him, I am going to actually be using a weapon that has this on it as well. Strong attacks at the start of each turn. All other teammates get 10% attack for 1 turn for each strong teammate on the team. So his damage output again is going to be magnified because of this, because there are 4 strong characters on the team I'm going to be building with him. So we're going to attack this Jackie team, and as you can see, I did get a couple of people confused off the first turn. I have got a full team of Confused Resist. I'm not taking Michonne here, just to show you basically this is a more free-to-play accessible team, because every character here is in the daily crates or was a league character, for instance Ivanova. And we're coming up against a pretty buffed up defense team. In a Jackie team, every one of these characters is pretty buffed up. But we're going to see the kind of damage output that Brutus can bring to the table. This is with the crit multiplier. I haven't tested this out, so this is going to be a nice little surprise for me. This is a weapon as well. And I can't remember what weapon percentage it is. It's less than 25%, so he's not going to do huge amounts of damage here because of the third slot on the weapon. It's just going to be because of his base damage, and he's going to do reasonably high. That's actually not too bad. 1.6k. Unfortunately, it's going to get all healed back up because of the multiple healing weapons on the defense team. And this is where Brutus can come into play. We are going to normalize and get the confuse off. And we're also going to, I think we're going to do this just to get rid of characters. He gets rid of 2, and then she doesn't actually go on to attack Mr. Lou, and that's actually a big bonus. I think that's quite a downside of that character, personally. If I was the defense team, I would have wanted that attack to come in, because then obviously the payback damage would have come in and been absolutely devastating for me. But I'm not sure. Did I? No, I normalized him. Okay. So again, I can rush this line, and there's not going to be any fear of me attacking him, and I'm going to heal up because of it. And I can pretty much do the same here, I believe. I can just attack him, and I'm not... This is always the downside of this character. And then, look at that hit, 9.5k. So that was a 3-turn win, and you saw the sort of damage output we're going to have. The big bonus of Brutus, if that character has, obviously, Mr. Lou has actually done his active, it's not going to be any sort of fear there. And this was a really geared up team that it came up against. Other than the trader's weapon, everything else is maxed here. We've got 3 healing weapons. You saw the base damage that I did to Rick. As much as I took him down to like 15% HP, he instantly became full HP because of those healing weapons. So that's the way it goes. If you don't take a character out, you're going to be punished with these sort of defenses. Okay, so turn 1, this time around we're using Michonne instead of Arav, just to see the difference here. With Michonne, I can block the active of Mr. Lou, but I'm actually not going to do that because it doesn't allow me to like freely rush. If he does his active, I can just rush for free. Now, I will take quite a bit of damage. I do not have the heals that I did last time round, so I have to win as quick as I did last time round. But it shouldn't be too much of a problem. It shouldn't be too much of a problem. We're even going to hit the person who we actually need to for the secondary, which is actually kind of nice. So we're going to just take out who we can. Going to start over here. What other characters are going to get taken out? Oh, because he did his active. Maybe I should have actually started the rush on him. That would have been probably the smarter thing to do. And we're going to take quite a bit more bleed damage. But I have buffed the HP of some of these characters. And then now, we should be able to just do a triple hit. And that's where he comes into play. As you can see now, Brutus's damage, 94,000. That triple attack was mental. Obviously, the combination with Alpha is going to be absolutely amazing. You do need to get everything buffed up. This is with one of the special weapons on Rick, where I give 10% attack for every strong character to other characters. So Rick doesn't get the buff himself, but he's a command, so doesn't need it. But the other characters do. You can see they all have 50% attack buffs constantly. And that will work quite well if you do want to take, like, let's say, a Clementine lead instead. Because something that Ivan Nova brings to the table that Clementine doesn't is a attack buff. But if you're getting that weapon buff, you could potentially go for the defense down from a Clementine lead. The only downside there is if they do have a shield, or if you want to counter, let's say, the trader's taunt when he rushes, then you're going to be in trouble. You're going to have to win quick. But this team does seem like it is a team set up to win quick, regardless of if you're using Michonne or if you're using Arav. So those are my early ideas for Brutus in terms of how I would upgrade his skills. Definitely max those out regardless. Combat mods, you might want to tweak those a bit. I did give another option, but I think all-out attack is probably the way to go. He has actually got pretty decent defensive stats considering he is a damage dealer. And his weapon upgrade seems to be like kind of obvious for me. You just got to get lucky on those upgrades, unfortunately. You know, that 5% upgrade effectively is going to be the difference between just a small bit of attack. But you can see the damage output that he gets if you have got defense down on those characters is brutal. And Brutus is brutal for real. I'm going to be getting my character very soon. I'm on, I think, 39 and 37 of the bear paw tokens on my 2 regions. I'm sure most of you are going to get your character in the next like couple of days as well. Hopefully this guide gets you off to a nice little start for Brutus, or somewhere where to aim for. But do give me your thoughts. Have you got different plans for Brutus? I want to hear some ideas for him on a defense team, because I can't really think of anything where he can actually be used on a defense team. Like I said, I think he's primarily an attack team character, but some of you may have some other ideas. Let me know in the comments. That is the end of my video. I want to thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.